Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Shadow Generation. So, our friend Big the Cat's here. Say goodbye to Big the Cat. We're not going to talk to him again.
But that fixes the plot hole of, because we knew Kyle A. Bear recorded lines for Generations. Where was he? He was in this version of Generations all along.
I can't believe they recorded like 13 years in advance.
Are you excited for some actually good Forces content?
Well, it should be said because we're not going to be really showing it off for this commentary, and even if we did, it wouldn't make for good visual to supplement the commentary. Make it a thing to revisit all the NPCs in White World between levels.
Yes.
Because they have a shitload of dialogue.
Omega's is the best. He's like Shadow. You know, the black arms can their joints can become like weapons. Ergo, you are part black arm, so your hand should be able to turn into a gun. And also, Big makes reference to the fact that he's been to Soliana and met Elise before, which is great.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I know, right? It's like as we learned from the original Big cameos in SA2 and all of the stuff in Secret Rings, Big gets around. When we don't see him, he gets around everywhere. Like he ends up on fucking in Frontiers somehow. We don't know how he got on the Starfall Islands. He just did somehow.
That's his new thing, huh? He just travels everywhere.
Pretty much, yeah.
For no reason. Man's got some disposable income.
Hold on, wait. Starfall Islands, that was Frontiers, right?
Yes.
Was that okay? Yeah, no, because I believe that Big wasn't actually Big. It was a hallucination.
Oh, I don't like that.
Wait,
man.
is that actually the case?
Yeah. If you play the fuck was the name of the DLC?
Well,
last
that's an alternate continuity. I'm just sticking.
No,
with
but there is a cutscene specifically made for that where Sonic and Sage do some reflecting on what it is exactly they're seeing around them, and Sonic mentions Big because like he's surprised as anyone that he's here, and Sage references that there's no evidence that there's a Big the Cat here. He might just be part of your memory that the island is taking and just projecting it. So it's Big as you remember him.
Ian Flynn did not write the main writer for Frontiers did not write the those little extra like character moments on the map. Yeah. Because that's why in DLC 3, every time you speak to Knuckles, he's like, "I'm gonna punch stuff." It's like, "Okay, Knuckles, calm down, buddy." But like, so I don't count that shit as canon. Because even Ian Flynn was like, "Oh yeah, I didn't really love that idea when I saw that in the game myself." So
I mean, at the same time, though, I think it's ultimately up to what Sonic Team considers what they'll keep and what they won't keep. So who knows?
Because really, even though ultimately the endings of both Base Frontiers and DLC 3, like they both end in the same way. Like, you know, the end is defeated and Eggman is reunited with Sage. No matter what ending, that is what you get at the end of them. So really, it doesn't ultimately matter. But just because I think it's funny that Big the Cat somehow wound up on the Starfall Islands, I think to me that is big. That is big for me.
Yeah, I agree. Like I rather prefer it just Big just ends up here because that's what Big does. Like he just shows up.
Pretty much. It's like, how the fuck did he get trapped into stuck into the Arabian Nights book? I don't fucking know, but it's funny. He just did it somehow.
How did he end up at half the places you could find him in Sonic Adventure 2? Who knows?
Exactly. How did he get to the Ark? Like, I don't know.
He's in prison on Prison Island. First off, how did he get there? And how did he get off?
What crime did he commit?
He knows what he did.
Big, you can't fish here. This is an endangered species.
We warned you, Big.
Not yet, they're not, but they will be soon.
Okay, yeah, the Doctor Strange segments are visually striking, but I'm getting real tired of Radical Highway.
I prefer this to the Sonic Forces stuff. Like, I'm sure gameplay-wise...
Oh, that's not hard.
Like, so here's the thing. I'm sure gameplay-wise that level plays fine and is perfectly fun. But, like, God, I forgot how much Sonic Forces just failed to leave an... Like I said, it makes sense that I would forget how much Sonic Forces left an impression.
To be honest, I actually kind of quite liked the aesthetic of the city stage in Sonic Forces, and I'm glad to see it come back.
I mean, blown up city is like there's several different variations of blown up city, like already in this game, like Radical Highway, City Escape.
But I liked the city itself, the aesthetic of the place that got blown up more than
So I'm not sure if this happened to anyone, but because when playing this with my son, this happened. In this level, I think it's this level specifically. If you don't attack Doom's Eye at the end of it and get the shadow icon, you can't progress to the bosses after this. So make sure you attack this little floating fuck and steal and get the thing.
I missed it on Rail Canyon, so we have to do that stage again.
So you actually have to, like, in game. Does the game tell you that you need to do that?
Not till you get to the final boss. No,
but to be fair, you are heavily goaded into attacking the eye.
Well, it's not that you wouldn't. It's not like it's a moral choice.
Ted, as we'll see in a second when we get after this section, the home and attack reticle will appear on the eye itself. So the game, like now, like the game does tell you to do it. But if you don't hit him, like he will just fly. If you just keep running, this will happen. So that, like you can miss him. Is basically what I'm saying. So don't miss him.
Yeah.
I remember Ryan didn't get the icon in the second level, and I remember noticing that.
Yeah, so I have to do it again.
Yeah, but I don't think, like, it wasn't like you were ignoring him. I think, like, you just missed the prompt or whatever. So it's just strange that you don't just have to hit him in order to finish the level, you know?
It is so fucking weird that it's just the Shadow the Hedgehog title logo. But, like, you know, Sunset Heights, I liked the combination of the destroyed city and the decidedly Sonic the Hedgehog-styled natural environments behind it. You know, the blocky trees and the geometrical hillsides.
One thing sorry, after you, man.
I was just gonna say, like, it always felt like a level that deserved to be in a better game than the one that introduced it.
I agree. I love that it's raining here. It's such a small visual change, but it looks so good. One thing about in the previous level, there's a lot more emphasis on like cinematics in the middle of the levels. Now, technically, Forces did this a lot, and Forces turned them into quick time events. There's no real quick time events in Shadow, but I will say, while like the cutscene of him like jumping past the Death Egg robots looks cool, like every time I replayed it, I kind of like, I kind of wish there was even like some kind of small quick time event here, because I am just not doing anything for 20 seconds. You know, does that make sense?
No, I agree. I totally agree. Because I had to think, like, do I prefer Shadow Generations over the original Sonic Generations? And while I really like this game, and I would put it in my top 10 Sonic games of all time, I still do prefer the original Sonic Generations. And one of the big reasons is, like, not only are the level themes more varied, I like the soundtrack a lot more. We can get into that later. I actually kind of find the soundtrack to be, it's okay in Shadow Generations. Yeah. I'm not, like, in love with all the music in this game, but... and the other thing is just, I find when you replay levels in this game, you have to keep seeing the Black Doom transitions all the time, and I just wish there was, like, push X to skip it and just immediately jump to where the transition ends, or something, you know? Like, just some kind of quick way to get to the gameplay part of it, because if you're speedrunning, because I was trying to speedrun, you know, get the S ranks for, like, Radical Highway without wings and stuff like that, and you still have to sit through a lot of these moments that, like... Yes, okay, Black Doom's warping the world, I've seen this a million times, it's great, it's cool, it's amazing, but it does get in the way of the flow of the level.
And I mean, who's to say that they won't patch it in a later day, because they've been pretty good about that for, like, Frontiers and shit like that. So maybe, with, you know, hopefully, like, BrainScratch curse kicks in, and that's already a thing of the past by the time this gets uploaded. But I do agree.
It didn't work for Superstars, it won't work now.
You're right. I don't know why talking. But I do appreciate it. A skip cutscene button would be greatly appreciated.
Is there a way to turn off those annoying button prompts? Like,
what, you mean, like,
maybe
stomp, like, by hitting X and circle?
Yeah.
You might be able to go in the options and turn it off. I do not remember, though.
Guys, it's funny because Superstars lets you skip those kind of in-level cutscenes before, like, boss fights and stuff. So it is weird how this game doesn't let us do that.
Yeah.
Sonic Superstars, best game ever made, baby.
I feel like the hate for Superstars is way overblown, to be honest.
Yes, it is. I agree. I think it's not a perfect game, but it's fucking fun. And so yeah, I think people who are like, it's the worst game ever
Sonic
made.
fans have gone too long without an actually bad game, and they need to be angry about something at all times. So, because the last actually bad game was Sonic Forces, which came 7 years ago. Oh,
Well, again, Ted, you know what? Again, this I forget if we talked about this in the last game, but I don't consider Forces a bad game, just a mediocre one.
No, I consider
painfully
Forces a
average.
bad game.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's bad because it works. Everything in that game works. It's just a lot of it is just dull, which I don't.
Yeah, because
you know?
because here's the thing about it, like Ted, because to me a bad game is not just something that I don't want to play, but actively angers me playing. Forces, Forces. I mean, I agree. Like Forces to me is so painfully fucking there that I'm exhausted at the idea of playing it. But if push comes to shove, I can play it. It's just, I'm not gonna have a good time.
If you're not going to have a good time playing it, then I think that's a bad game. It doesn't matter why you're not having a good time.
But I would argue you're thinking of in extremes though. If it's not good, it's bad.
Well, no, there's obvious. So there's having a bad time, having a neutral time, and having a good time. And this is all a spectrum. If the thought of playing Sonic Forces fills you with dread, and if you are going to be not just like neutral while playing Sonic Forces, but actively disliking your time playing it, I would say then that's a bad game.
See, for me, it's neutral. For me, Forces is just immensely. It is the 4-2 of video games. It's just there, you know.
Just 4-2 of video games.
Yeah, that's the thing. Every so often, I get the urge to just play Sonic Forces because I want to make a character and mess around. And, I get to the end of the game. My response is, that was okay. It's kind of like the same response that I have when I play a Sword Art Online video game, They're just kind of like decent games that exist.
Well, then in that case, you guys are just kinder to it than I am, because I had a terrible time playing it, and I have no desire to touch it ever again.
Yeah. Either way, the point is that game is not good.
No.
Like I think we're all in agreement that Forces is not a good game. It's just does it cross the threshold enough for you to consider it to be awful game, or does it just kind of tread water the entire fucking journey?
I think the reason why I'm kinder to it is because it's so base and easy. When Ben was like 4, he used to love playing it. So I just have my boy liked it, so I'm kinder to it, I think. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry. We were talking over this whole story development, but like these are the actual Maria and Gerald from the past?
Yeah, from their point in time.
Yeah, it's actually Maria. Let's kill her now before the government can. Chaos spear her now, Ryan, do it. And you old fuck.
I'm glad Gerald took Ozempic.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Gerald's design seems to be more based on SA2 than Shadow, because he does not have a gut, like at all. Like he is lean and mean.
Well, you don't really ever see much of Gerald's stomach in SA2. Like he's hunched over in that chair.
He's hunched over. He's about to get shot.
Yeah, so you don't get a good look at his stomach in that.
I wish this part was real and Gerald and Maria just watched Shadow get stuck in the corner and jump 4 times before turning around.
I don't want to say this is the only thing that made the decision easy for the developers, but I think the reason they decided to lean on him being, lean is because the movie's coming out and we're seeing Gerald there.
But he's got a gut in the movie though. Jim Carrey is wearing a fat suit for Gerald. He's got a big gut in that, so it doesn't even match with that.
Isn't Jim Carrey wearing a fat suit for Eggman in that too? Because like
he's wearing a slight fat suit, but like especially I think in the trailer I think Gerald has a bigger gut than Base Robotnik does in Sonic 3.
Huh.
Either way, Gerald's very grotesque in the movie.
Is the movie out?
In the saggy
Sir
flesh.
Lancelot? What?
Wait,
Damn.
one of those was a Sonic Adventure 2 Shadow. What?
Yep.
I was looking
It
at
was
like,
Yeah, those skins one were his Sonic Rivals model, one was Sir Lancelot, and one was one of the alternate multiplayer skins in SA2.
Yeah, I was gonna say the SA2 one. I was like, wait,
Yeah.
what's that? What's that? I don't get it.
Man, this
It's
game-
Forest Falls, Clement. Fuck you.
Aw.
Okay, so I will give them credit for like generally giving you a way to get back to the challenge acts faster from the boss gate. But like it is getting a little annoying to have to watch that.
Is there any kind of like quick jump at least once you find this stuff? Like, okay,
Yeah.
there is a fast travel. Yes.
Once you've completed the level, and if you press start in the options menu, you can jump to any previous level you've already completed.
okay,
Yeah.
that's good at least.
I think
Yeah.
they did that in Sonic's white space
In
as well.
Frontiers, yeah.
Well, not Frontiers. I mean, in,
Oh yes, in Generations. Well, it's in Generations. It was if you were at any level gates and press like X, you could then cycle through the other level gates
oh right, yeah, you're
to
right.
go to them instantly. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So more Kingdom Valley, more surfing. Why do you keep going for
If
the
you have to
boxes?
press,
Yeah,
you have to press
because
the button.
the most annoying thing about the Doom Surf is that traveling on the water is not a problem at all. It works just fine. You shift left and right by pressing L1 or R1 or the bumpers, depending on what version of the game you're playing. The only thing I don't like is that you're forced left or right when you push them. And I think it would have been better if it was like a spot dodge from Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Where the direction, where the dash was influenced by the direction you were holding on the analog stick.
Yeah, probably.
The fact that you are forced left or right by pressing the button is something I do not like.
Yeah, I can see that being awkward.
And you said that like Shadow controls better in this than you think Sonic does in Generations proper.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
What
Yeah.
about it do you think makes him control better? Because
The double jump is a big thing, for
Yes.
one thing.
Yes.
The ground control is not as stiff. Although, like you say, like Sonic in Generations base, like had inherently better ground control than like he did in Unleashed, and that sort of shit. But to me, a big factor is that double jump, because that makes all the difference for like the precise platforming.
Yeah, and I think I said this in the Sonic part, that playing it for the first time, I was like, I for the first like hour, I kept expecting to be able to double jump, because Frontiers and Colors Ultimate had it. It's like, oh fuck, you can't double jump in this game. You've let me down again, Sega.
Like, the one thing going into this game I was really worried about was that because we have a 3D space and this was a boost-heavy Sonic game again, like, I didn't know how faithful it was going to be to the old Generations gameplay style, and I'm like, well, putting that kind of gameplay in a 3D space and trying to, like, go all over the place might be awkward, but the thing I really enjoyed about going through the white space was just, like, it's so easy to just go exactly where you want him to go. Like, if I go up left,
Yeah.
he's going up left. If I go up right, he's going up right. Like, I just never feel like Shadow has this limitation that's preventing me, other than the camera sometimes. The camera's always, like, screwing things up for me, but when it comes to just, like, getting exactly where I need to go, I just feel like if you push in the direction of where you want to go, Shadow goes there just fine. So
I like how this franchise has broken us so much that, oh yeah, basic movement control works is something to note.
10 out of 10. No other franchise has ever had that before. 10 out of 10. Go.
Okay, yeah, to be fair, to have good control at this sort of speed is an accomplishment.
Well, that
but
was always
it's
the
like,
problem with Sonic, though, is that, like, the problem with some of the boost games was that moving slowly felt awkward and moving fast felt fine. And then in some of the other games, it's like moving fast feels awkward, moving slow feels fine. It's never been both in many of the situations where you feel like...
Until today.
it was definitely something I noticed with Crisis City playing the original. Is just like, there's a lot of moments where you have to like hop from platform to platform before you can get back to the boost heavy stuff. And it's definitely like, I barely made that. This is all right. But
Yeah.
like,
It doesn't
luckily
have,
the stages are
the terrain
designed
is
for
awkward.
this. Yeah. the stages are more designed around this stiff control style so that it's not really that big of a deal. But if you were to put them in a more regular, more natural kind of thing, and I think especially with Generations mods, like when people mod like all these open levels and they keep Generations control style, you can definitely feel how stiff it is when like you're trying to do something beyond its limited approach. You know?
I mean, Generations always had more platforming than Unleashed and such, but the platforming that was there was mostly designed to be like run and jump through, rather than
like the stretches between platforms were long. The platforms themselves were wide to accommodate for the turning, and that sort of shit. And when you're trying to bring that version of Sonic into something more precise in a mod, it falls on its face.
And I think Shadow, if it has mods, will be a lot better to control, to navigate around.
I cannot wait for people to start taking this game apart.
I mean, I'm sure there's already mods by the time this comes up.
Oh, no doubt.
I'm sure you're talking about like
this
the really
is the
involved
best game.
ones
This
that
is the
take
best
time.
game in the franchise. I can't wait to fucking fans to fix it. This game sucks.
I'll be interested to see whether this game is better or worse for modding than on a technical level. I mean, than the original, because that was one of the to bring up Skyrim when that game came out with its special edition. Obviously, replacing the old Rim version with special edition was initially a speed bump for modders, but as they, got into making mods for the new version, they started to realize, hey, this version's actually better for modding than the old one was. We can do more with this.
The thing that I'm curious about in regards to like eventual modding is like sort of the interconnectivity between Shadow Generations and Sonic Generations, because a fun little tidbit about this game in particular, well, the re-release in particular, is that despite being able to choose Sonic or Shadow Generations from the title screen, the games exist as two separate EXEs.
Yeah.
So when you choose Sonic Generations or Shadow Generations, there is a clear cut to black because the game is loading the game, like from the title screen.
That's not too surprising to me, considering how different these games are.
Well, it's they're probably just running like a slightly shinier version of the original program for Generations.
Yeah.
So
the title screen is essentially a launcher.
Yeah, it's interesting. That also is probably part of why they're able to have a separate, more polished set of control physics for Shadow as well.
Absolutely. Because it's technically a different game.
Yeah, which is why I think a lot of people, when they saw stills of the Sonic Battle cutscene in this game, so many people are like, oh, why is he using the Frontiers model? Like, what did you fucking expect them to go back to a fucking model from 15 years ago for their brand new game? What are you, fucking crazy?
I don't get people who like are that like fixated on the details of the character design that they'll complain about the Frontiers model.
Well, it's because, Lewis, you don't understand, his quills are 2 inches shorter than the previous game. They've ruined my Sonic forever. The Sonic I grew up with had longer quills because he's cooler.
He looks...
Your Dusty Rhodes impression is spot on, by the way.
Change of any sort scares people, especially if you are extremely attached to something, which many Sonic fans are.
This is the fan base that did go through 2 different civil wars regarding voice changes and green eyes. God forbid if anyone was on Sonic Retro back in the day, the green eyes debate. Kill me, please. I don't want to go back to it.
When was the second Green Eyes debate?
No, there was one Green Eyes debate. That was it was in Sonic 4. People were like, how can he call it Sonic 4 when he's got green eyes?
I remember that. I just you were talking about the voice actor.
The voice
debate.
actor. So there was 2 of those. Once when the 4Kids cast took over, and then when they were replaced for colors. And now I just hate all of you so much.
We'll see you next time.